The night was heavy with dust and whiskey fumes when the doors of the Lone Star Saloon swung open. The piano stopped, laughter died, and through the noise came a girl, dragged by two rough men with greed in their eyes. Her dress was torn, her face streaked with tears and dust. No one moved, no one dared. She was young, no more than 20. Her name was Eliza May, though nobody in that room cared to know it. She'd been traveling west with a wagon train, searching for a new beginning after her father's death. But fate had a cruel hand, her wagon was ambushed, and she'd been taken. Now, she found herself in the dirtiest saloon of Red River Town, a place where law was bought and decency was a joke. The men who dragged her in threw her against the bar, laughing. "Got us a wild one, boys," one of them said. "Reckon she'll fetch a fine drinkin' show tonight." The bartender looked away. The crowd murmured. No one stood up for her. Except one man. At the far corner of the room, a cowboy slowly lifted his head. He'd been sitting quietly, hat tipped low, a single glass of bourbon in front of him. His name was Luke Callahan, a drifter, a former ranch hand turned bounty hunter. He'd seen enough ugliness in his life to fill a graveyard, but something in that girl's trembling face struck a chord deep within him. He rose from his chair, boots scraping the wooden floor. The sound echoed like thunder in the silence. "Let her go," he said, voice low but hard as steel. The two men turned, surprised, then sneered. "Ain't your business, cowboy," one spat. "Sit back down before you join her." Luke didn't move. He took a step forward. His hand hovered near his gun belt. The saloon's dim lamps flickered against the brass buckle that gleamed at his waist. "I said," he repeated, "let her go." The taller of the two men laughed. "Or what, hero?" Luke's eyes narrowed. "Or you'll be picking splinters out of your coffin before sunrise." A heartbeat passed. Then everything erupted. One man lunged forward, drawing his knife. But Luke was faster. His revolver came out in a blur. One shot cracked, echoing through the room. The knife dropped. The man clutched his arm, screaming. The other froze, his hand halfway to his gun. "Try me," Luke said, cocking the hammer again. The second man backed away, pulling his wounded friend toward the door. The crowd scattered to make room, silent as ghosts. When the doors slammed shut behind them, Luke holstered his gun and turned to Eliza. "You all right, miss?" She nodded weakly, her voice trembling. I think so." Luke offered his hand. "Come on, you don't belong in a place like this." She hesitated, glancing at the faces watching her. None offered kindness, only curiosity and shame. Then she took his hand. Outside, the cold air bit her skin. The town was quiet, moonlight spilling across the dirt road. Luke led her toward his horse tied by the hitching post. "You got anyone here?" he asked. "No," she said softly. "My father passed 2 months ago. We were heading west. The men who took me, they killed the others." Luke's jaw tightened. "You're lucky I was here tonight. Or maybe," she whispered, "you were meant to be." He looked at her, really looked, and saw not just fear but strength in her eyes. "Something unbroken." He nodded slowly. "We'll get you somewhere safe." They rode out of Red River that night, under the silver light of the moon. For miles, neither spoke. The wind carried the scent of sagebrush and distant rain. Finally, when the town's glow had faded, Luke guided his horse toward a small cabin nestled near a dry creek. "This place ain't much," he said, helping her down, "but no one will find you here." She stepped inside, the wooden floor creaking beneath her boots. There was a fireplace, a bedroll, and a small table, simple, but safe. For the first time in days, she exhaled in relief. Luke lit a fire, then sat across from her. "You'll rest here tonight. Come morning, I'll take you to Fort Trinity. They'll see you get somewhere decent." Eliza looked into the flames. "Why did you help me?" she asked softly. He didn't answer at first. Then he said, "Because once, someone didn't help my sister. And I swore I'd never stand by again." Her eyes glistened. "I'm sorry. Don't be. Just get your life back. That's all the apology this world needs." They sat in silence for a long while, the fire crackling between them. Outside, a coyote howled somewhere in the distance. When dawn broke, Luke saddled his horse again. Eliza came out, wearing his old coat to keep warm. "Where will you go after this?" she asked. "Wherever there's trouble to stop," he said with a small smile. "A man's gotta earn his peace somehow." She stepped closer. "Then I hope you find it." He tipped his hat. "Take care, Eliza May." As he turned to leave, she called after him. "Luke, I won't forget you." He smiled without turning back. You just make sure you live a life worth remembering. Then he rode off into the rising sun, a lone figure disappearing across the golden horizon. Eliza watched until he was gone, the wind brushing her hair, carrying the faint scent of dust and freedom. For the first time since her world had shattered, she felt something new stirring inside her, hope. And somewhere beyond the hills, the cowboy who'd saved her rode on, chasing justice in a world that had almost forgotten what it meant. But not him, never him.